You're listening to Materials Business, the podcast where engineering, leadership, and innovation meet diversity and inclusion. Hosted by Monica Hernandez, engineer, entrepreneur, and industry advocate. When we embrace different perspectives, we create stronger industries, smarter solutions, and lasting impact. Now, let's dive in.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when are you watching us. And thank you for being part of the material business community. My name is Monica Hernandez, and I have a really special guest with me today. Angela, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Monica, for having me.
So Angela is here because someone that is very special to the material business community referred Angela to me. And I was like, yes, of course. So kudos, Stefan. Thank you for doing this. I know you probably don't like to be put on the spot, but I like to do that. So thank you. And because a lot of the things that are happening in material business are because of people like you guys. So, and yesterday we were talking. I was recording another podcast for allyship, and that is what allyship is. Someone that understands what is that you want to do and then brings you in and then talks to you in rooms that you're not in. So today I want to give a little thank you and gratitude to Stefan and Angela. Thank you for being here. So we're going to speak about things that are not so conventional to our audience. We'll speak about how we can put ourselves in a best way out there from a perspective that brings different eyes. So it's not from the technical perspective, or it's not even from the technical side of engineering, but we'll talk about another very important topic that we most definitely talk about, and it's collaboration, and how can we enhance that collaboration to make our positions heard and then our words gone and then everything else. So I'm very excited, Angela. Thank you for being here. Can you tell us about yourself?
Yes, I am Angela Cope, and I am many things. I am a director of demand generation, a leader, a wife, a sister, a daughter, a friend, a dog mom. I'm a writer. I am an outdoor person. I am many things, Monica. I'm a survivor. I've survived a lot of different experiences in my life. And, I think I'm still defining all the pieces of who I am. I'm a adventurer, storyteller, and somebody who is currently in her growth era is what I am.
Isn't that exciting? That's why I named my company Infinity Growth.
Yes, I saw that.
So, okay, this is a topic that is repeating probably for the last 3 podcasts or so, and is the intersectionality, how we can wear different hats and how you can be now I am the mom, now I am the wife, now I am the daughter, and how we can do that with grace and then without burning, and then as a survivor of many things and a storyteller, I think you're in a really good position to navigate us a little bit through that. How do you do such things?
For me, I have had to wear and switch through many hats many times to navigate my path forward. I mean, even just in a day-to-day of work meetings, it feels like I'm constantly switching hats. You can have a very deep conversation with somebody in a one-on-one and then have to, 30 seconds later, join in on the next virtual call and be there as a leader within a session with 100 people and delivering a message and trying to have everybody communicate. So it is very common both at work and at home. For me, learning how to switch those hats has been an art that has come through my practice. I think the first hat that I own every day that doesn't switch is just Angela. Like, I am Angela. I like to say a lot that I am just a human being getting through this thing called life. And it really sort of grounds me in the fact that I am human. And sometimes I'm going to pick the wrong hat to wear or the wrong approach to manage a situation or have a conversation with somebody, or I'm going to have a day that I'm off. And I talk a lot about this with my team, that not every day is game day. I'm not wearing the champion hat every single day. Sometimes it's just days of practice, sometimes it's days of rest. And recognizing those days within me is really important as I do navigate these changes. Doing that practically has taken a lot of practice. It's shown up within my meditation practice, it's shown up within my journaling practice, and it shows up a lot within my gratitude and affirmation practice. I do a lot of just repeating messages to myself to help rewire my thinking as I start my day, in different areas that I find myself struggling with. So, trust was my most recent sort of journey that I've been on. Going and living through an acquisition at work and having to trust the process, trust the new folks that are now instantly in my life, the changes that are coming every day. And in order to navigate through all of those changing dynamics, my day starts with trust affirmations for 15 minutes. I trust the process. I trust everything's happening for its reason. I trust the universe. I trust what's going to happen. I trust myself. I trust my voice. So this is where, Monica, I think at the end of the day, there are a lot of different ways in which I'm navigating and hats I need to wear at any given moment. But finding that and owning that I am still Angela in all of this, I am human, I'm just getting through this thing called life, has been a real shift for me in the last couple of years as I do stay true to myself. And if I'm staying true to myself, then I can be the best version of myself for others as well.
Now I know why Stefan sent us to connect. Like totally, this is that discovery of what is it to be alive, and then what is it to represent who you are, and then it starts with you and accepting who you are for who you are, and then realizing the areas of growth that come with it, which is extremely powerful. A lot of people don't realize it. And I see, and we have had this discussion with other guests before, in the technical realm, it's almost like you get taking that chip and distorted again. And it's like, don't think about it. It's like, if you can prove that the affirmation works, don't think about it. Just do the spreadsheet. and, and I've seen a lot of people that really are miserable doing what they do. And it's a great job. And it's a job that they wanted to have when they started their careers. It doesn't fulfill them anymore.
Yeah.
What is that? Like, have you seen that too?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if there's some sort of universal energy that is changing a lot of folks, or it's just been the nature of the last couple of years, particularly since the pandemic as well. Um, I think it's a journey that I'm on myself. And I think in the gratitude practice for my daily practice, yes, I am very grateful for the career that I've created and the ability and luxury to work remotely and to live in this beautiful home and make moves with my husband and, explore different parts of life. Like, incredibly grateful for that. And it's important that I come back to it. But, why are people struggling with that? That's a question I've been asking myself. And I'm sort of am that reflective person. And I think, Monica, when we think about the role that an affirmation may have for our brains, it's around rewiring current beliefs that we have about ourselves. And when you are going through a shift or a pivotal moment, or you're feeling this calling of, this just doesn't feel right, you need to dive deeper into that feeling. You need to explore it. And it's quite the exploration once you get going. And it's tough and it's painful and it's eye-opening, and you start to discover, am I in this role because this is what I wanted? Or am I here in this moment because I have different beliefs that came from different voices in my life and growing up with my parents, with society, with schools, like folks who are listening to this podcast, I know that they're coming from all different parts of the world, and that experience, that lived experience is unique to each individual listening. But we all do share one similar trait as human beings, which is that we build belief systems of who we are. And sometimes people start to build this image of who they are and the job titles that they have and the success that they've created. And there are people who get to a point of asking themselves, is this even what I want? Like, that
Right.
happens. It's
Uh-huh.
a question I've been exploring in the last couple of years. And it's a question I know many, many women, particularly in my space, have been exploring as well.
It's interesting because my work, I do a lot of work with women, and then I take it for I don't know. I think it is once you have discovered a little path in this whole discovery thing, is like you cannot keep it for yourself. So I'm very vocal about it. It's like, did you know that? um, and it goes down to, and I have been in other sessions where we speak with women. Like I went to Women in Tech the other day gathering, and they were saying the same things. It's like the same exact thing. Women in accounting, which I thought it's a lot of women in accounting, and there's it's still the same thing. It's like a lot of the struggles are very similar, and a lot of the struggles have to be with finding your voice. And that's huge in the world that we work at, and because we don't look like the guys. We think different. We have different emotions. Our cycles are different throughout the month. And so the responses aren't the same. And then for some reason, and we were talking about that before we started, hit the recording button. It's like sometimes you kind of build an image based on things. But then how true that image is to who you really are. And then I think there is a lot of in the technical STEM industry, there is a lot of people don't know where to start. They may be asking that question. It's like the amount of people that don't like what they do is incredible. Like I can, like right now, it's like millions of images come to my head of people that really dislike, or they not dislike, but they feel like prisoners of something that they've created. And sometimes it is just taking that decision of, I want to rewire my brain, but going from there into what is it after feels scary. What
Fear of
would
the
you say?
unknown.
Yeah, of course. It's like, oh my God. So what would you say to someone that is in that position, like my counterpart engineer in that big corporation that has, I don't know, a super good job, but knows that he is or she is not fulfilled?
I would first say, just take a big, deep breath. Take just a deep breath, slow down. And, I giggle about it, but there are so many people who don't know how to take that first deep breath. They really don't. And I'm not an expert in, you know, what questions to be asking yourself, but I could share a little bit, Monica, about my journey, and maybe it will help inspire others, and when they're at that moment, how to move forward. So a little bit about me, just to give that perspective of where I'm coming from. So I was the firstborn to high school students who were high school dropouts, and the first of three children. And by the time my mom was 30, she had 3 of us. My brother was the last born, right? 7 years different. But before that, I really was brought up within this household with certain beliefs from my parents, who I love them. I've forgiven them for a lot. I've done that work, but they were doing the best they could with the resources that they had. Also, just human beings trying to get through this thing called life. And there was a lot of addiction, mental health realities that I saw growing up. And out of fear, my dad in particular used to instill different beliefs within me. Beliefs like, if you don't figure out what you're going to do, you're going to grow up just to be like us, miserable, unhappy in life, unsuccessful, can't afford to put food on the table, all these pieces. And that was a core belief that was instilled in me at a very young age. And it required me to shift and focus a lot on my academics. And coming home with good grades was very important in our house. Like, I'm sure many people can relate to. It's not a unique story, right? And that created a lot of pressure, where there were parts of me that I really enjoyed as a child. I really enjoyed singing and dancing and just being a kid and having this sort of level of freedom. And a lot of that did have a lot of pressure behind it because of just the upbringing that I had. And the reality, too, that substances were a big part of my parents' life. And that clouded their judgment, right? Like they just had that addiction and they had those struggles. And eventually I ended up finding this opportunity, really coming upon it by accident when I was in high school, where I took this first course. I was at a brand new high school and I got into film and television. And I just felt super aligned to this. Like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm so passionate about film and television. I get to share stories. I get to be creative. I get to be amongst other creatives within a community here. And I really did a deep dive into that. And I was convinced at a very young age that my career was going to be in film and television. I was going to be an editor. That was the path I was going to go down. And I went all in, like, worked part-time jobs, volunteered at different local film and television studios. I took as many courses as I could, and I had my eyes set on getting into this one film and television program, which was known to only accept 10 straight out of high school students every year. So I was like, that was the milestone. I'm going to achieve this. I'm going to get accepted no matter what. And I started my own film company with some friends. We took on different projects. Like, we were day and night. This is all I was doing. And I did this for several years. And I ended up getting into the program, getting accepted. It was a very rewarding moment. But with everything going on in my house, I ended up at that time also becoming homeless. And I had to figure out how to hold on to this dream. It's emotional. It's an emotional story for me. Hold on to this dream that I had, that I put so much into, so much passion into, while navigating homelessness. And, it was not possible. I ended up having to drop out from the program and completely restarting my life. And it was, just various reasons as to why I ended up where I was. So I had nothing. I had no family. I had friends who had gone off to school. I felt like I had completely lost my identity at a very young age, where I didn't have the level of knowledge that I do now, the resources available to me, the support groups around me, and really sort of feeling alone in that journey. And for me, it just, once I lost everything, I figured, well, you know what? There's nothing else I can lose. So why not just try something, right? So I kept trying. And there was this one, at this point in life, there were still stores where they sold DVDs and CDs, right, before iTunes and everything.
Yeah.
And there was a store in the mall, and I kept applying, and I walked in every single week. with my resume and I would apply. And every single week I kept going back, apply, apply, apply. Probably did this for 3 months. And finally I went, and they knew me at this point. They're like, okay, you're applying for a job yet again that is not open, but here you are. And I didn't believe in no at that point in that way, right? Like no in the sense of where I can make a decision of how to move myself forward, like my own personal no's. And I finally got an interview and I finally got that job. And that brought me back to my passion to at least speak about it every single day. Not in the same way that I thought it was going to, with going to school and getting, that degree in film and television. But at least it brought some spark back for me. And that bit of spark gave me life. It wasn't everything that I imagined, but it was enough to keep that fire going. And I don't think, even as I got emotional telling this, I still have more to explore of that time of my life to heal from. But it was a really important lesson that finding a way to bring that spark, to bring that passion into my day helps ignite a certain energy, a certain connection within me to move forward. So I'm not in film and television right now. I'm a director of demand gen. I'm far from it. And there are times that I get to get into that state. But I now have found those sparks, that flow, that state of passion in different areas of myself, in different storytelling parts of myself, like putting myself out there to be on podcasts or in my poetry, in my journaling in different ways. And it's in those moments that I have been able to get into that state, feel like I'm in my authentic self, and then ask myself the big questions. What am I doing? What comes next? Where am I? So I'm giving myself that opportunity to live in a state that is truly mine, where I feel connected, where I feel in flow. And then that is where, okay, I'm here now. Let's start to explore those bigger questions that I haven't really explored yet.
Oh, that's a really good way of seeing it. Because we always, as a technical people, we always want to give it the behind it, like the technicality behind it. But what we're seeing with your story, which by the way, thank you for sharing, is not only to allow yourself to do that, but what is the real moment where you started asking those questions and you keep asking those questions, and is when you are connected and you found how to be connected, which is probably one of the biggest struggles for many of the people that are listening to that. Like, how do I really feel my authentic self? And it's probably not doing spreadsheets, because I haven't met a human being yet that says, oh my God, I just so thrive on doing those formulas and then connecting those sheets. It's like, yeah, I like it, but like, what is it that puts you into that element of creativity so you can really explore those questions? So,
You could be good at
wow,
something. You could be good at spreadsheets. Doesn't mean that's your authentic self. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wow, that's really, really powerful. Thank you for sharing. And it's a story of so much resilience and so much forgiveness. And you do that with such a grace. And we were just saying that before we started the recording. You have to laugh at things, and then, because it's not laughing about the situation, but it's like you said, we are just human, and then trying to figure this thing. If we do it together, it feels less heavy. So hopefully, if there is someone listening to today's episode and you are in a difficult moment in your life, know that it's just a moment. It doesn't define who you are. It is just, this also shall pass, like whatever. I don't know who
Just
said
going to
that.
say that this too shall
Uh,
pass.
whoever said that is like, man, you're right. Is this will pass, and then you'll get on to with your things. And So thank you so much for not only the sharing, but also for the courage to share stories like this. A lot of people don't feel inclined to share past moments, and then we prefer to not talk about it, and then that doesn't make us any good in the long term. As a woman, how is being that to navigate the area that you work at?
I've been in the technology industry now since 2012 in a marketing capacity mostly, and some time in sales also. And I have been surrounded by majority men. Within our organization, we're up to about 40% women representation, which is amazing.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's taken, dedicated growth, and I'm grateful for a leadership team that has put in, the practice and the effort and the investment in growing women leaders, which is amazing to see. I think it the topic of women in technology. I've been in and out of various women groups and in various leadership positions, and it's a bit of a struggle for me, I think, still. I've left organizations because of the way that they treat women, and you know, I would be in a role that was the best role that I felt like I had been in, and it was really difficult to, as a leader, stand behind a leadership team that clearly had an opinion about women in their workforce. And to me, I I guess I've done enough moving around in my life and I've had so many restarts that I realize that there's a little less weight on the restart sometime. Like, it's actually, once you do it enough, you're sort of like, okay, yes, I could do this. Like, I can find another job, I can go meet new people, I can grow in different ways, and I'm open to that. I know that's not where everybody's comfortability sits. Um, but right now, where I've come to at this point is to recognize that I don't know if I have the ability to fully influence a leadership team that's above me. So I am vocal where I need to be vocal, and I share my feedback where I need to be doing so. Sometimes there's cultures that are so much stickiness there with their perspectives. So where I do focus a lot is amongst my peer groups, of connecting with women within sort of my, director level, but a lot of focus on sort of the next generation of uh, leaders and individual contributors. And it's not just about sharing the perspective and giving folks a view of the woman experience within the workspace, but it's also really around the diversity within the workspace. I have a very diverse team. And one of the things that has really helped, I found, with my team over the years, and is this sharing of stories, really. We used to hold really simple, it's such a simple thing, but it had such an impact. This thing called coffee chats, and it was once a week, 30 minutes, come onto the call, and you would hear somebody's story. And everybody came to this with a different perspective, a different story to share, different levels of vulnerability. But in doing so, we got to learn more about each other, our backgrounds, our lived experiences, the immigration experience for many of our team members coming from different parts of the world to Canada, and that whole experience, what it's like living with a sibling who has a disability, like just so many different stories. And it's as simple as creating a space. It's a really simple practice that I've come to understand and learn. And it takes me to be the first to share my story, to share that vulnerability, to create that connection amongst 25, 30 people virtually, not even in the same room. Most of the time, not even on camera, on screen. But I think, for me, when I'm looking at how I support women in the workplace beyond one-on-one connections, it's also just around sharing my story and recognizing that, yes, like I've had a lot of success so far within my career, and it's possible. And I've navigated a lot of the challenges and ways in which men and women both have put me down or forced me to sort of stay within my space. Um, and it comes through that storytelling, that sharing. It inspires me when I hear other people share their stories, like hearing your stories, Monica, hearing your guest stories. Like that's always a place of inspiration. Um, and it's such a uniquely human trait of us. Like if you go back, there's a reason why there are stories painted on caves. Like people are storytellers, and it's just, I think that's an important element of how we support women and people of color within the workplace in general, and using our voices. It's really that.
Yeah, it's practice.
Yeah.
And you're right. And we had someone in the podcast, and she was talking about how this AI boom is going to shift the workplace perspectives. And then after that, we have been having a little bit of that conversation with everyone. And then what I'm hearing all over is, what is AI? What can't AI take away from us? And it's what makes us human. And this is part of being human. Your experience, your um, the way you navigated something, the emotions that came with that, and getting to know someone, is sometimes we don't even know our family members. Uh, we don't know what, it's like when my son was little, he will all the time, what is your favorite color? What is your favorite food? And then as time passes, those moments go away. And then all of a sudden, you don't know if your favorite color is still green, or if he still likes pizza, or what is it? Because we forget to keep asking. And so it is a really important reminder of being connected as a leaders. I always have said that, and it's very important that the team that you lead, uh, it's, I don't want to say glued, but it has something within them, like little pieces that have something within them to stick together. And that something is just how well we know each other to support each other.
Absolutely. I love that.
Okay. Angela, it's gone so fast. I could stay here all day. We're almost at the end. I have still two more questions, but what would you say to someone that is kind of asking themselves that question? Like, and you've spoken about many things that I completely relate, like moving from one place to another by the, like, I immigrated at 25, right? I left everything, and I have moved through Canada more than many Canadians. So when I said I've lived in 6 of the provinces, they're like, what? Yeah. Uh, and to me, I can relate totally, but I can also relate with the non, it's not the core part of a lot of people. So navigating through those changes, and then being flexible enough to say, this is okay. It's just another job. It's just another boss. It's just another place. What makes you have that moment of saying, it's okay, you got this?
It comes back to my mindfulness practice, meditation practice. And I know a lot of people talk about this. I feel like probably part of the reason I got into meditation is because of the mainstream, headspace apps, all that are available to us. And it really started there for me. What I've come to understand within that journey, though, for me, it's been a bit of a spiritual one, where I do find myself praying. And sometimes that prayer is what helps me to answer some of those big questions. And it's really creating that moment of sitting down in space. I use that word. I don't know if it's in the same word that everyone is going to connect to when they think of the word prayer. But it's really around speaking out to the source energy that is surrounding us at all times, and having a trust within that. It's now, trust me, it's taken me years to get there. So that is like probably, a different level, but it really, really starts with, it really started with me just finding 5 minutes. Start 5 minutes with silence and breathing. And you can easily find something on YouTube, just 5 minutes of breathing, 5 minutes of meditation, have it guided. Do what sounds right for you, what feels right for you. Be exploratory, be curious in that. But starting on that journey really helped me to quiet the noise after days and months and years of practice. It's much easier for me to connect into that space. And it allows you to just gift yourself the gift of time. And when you do that, you can ask yourself those big questions, or clarity comes through, or an intention is set of what you are trying to get an answer for. And in that practice, you begin to see, somebody said this once to me and I love it, the sparkly breadcrumbs that exist in our day. And just grab onto it. Trust your gut. We all have intuition. I think this is a little bit stronger in women sometimes, and it's just from the experiences that I've seen. Like, if your intuition is telling you something, if you feel like you just want to run from the job, or you want to, like, avoid things, like, there's a reason that your body is responding and your soul is responding in that way. It's because you're not meant to be there. And it's sometimes a really hard truth, but just know that that's what makes life so interesting. It's the journey of the unknown and paving your own path. Anything is really possible. I've come to learn that time and time again. People are going to give you all the reasons why you shouldn't listen to your own voice, but it's truly your voice that matters. So I would just create that space, whatever that may be. Maybe it's, in the morning or at night, or schedule it in your calendar if you have to. I schedule meditation time, right? Like, give yourself that time and just do the practice. Start with 5 minutes, and it's really changed my life. And I'm a big believer in um, just giving me my own time. That's all it is. Yeah.
It's so important. You made me remind of someone that when I started, taking care of myself after hitting rock bottom with health issues. And one of the yoga teachers that I had, she said, "How much time are you dedicating to yourself?" And it struck my mind that for 30 some years, I've never, ever asked me that question.
Mm.
So it's like, how much time are you dedicating to yourself? Like, you go to work, you do your activities with your family, you cook, you'll do all these. But to you, how much? And then probably you go to the salon once a month or whatever, or nails for the ones that like nails. I don't have nails, but whoever wants to do that, But besides that, daily, really, how much time are you dedicating to yourself? And that question, after I heard it, I couldn't let go. And it really popped. And every time that I am in situations that are difficult or stressful, or whatever you want to name it, I try to go back to the basics, which are that, how much time. And then I realized, yeah, I was slacking on the meditation. I skipped 2 days. I haven't done this and then you start, okay, yeah, I need to go back. And then it's like you're saying, finding, exploring, and enjoying the process. Because if you don't enjoy it, you're going to stick to it.
Yeah. And sometimes you got to make the choices that feel difficult to put yourself first. I'm about a week and a half away from taking 4 weeks off, not for vacation, but just to, I'm calling it like a detox from work, like to detox from work. And that was a really, really hard choice for me to make. The imposter syndrome was there, everything was there, all those, internal, external voices were there. But in making that decision, I felt so grounded, and this is the right decision for me. And I was talking to one of my leaders on my team today, and he was asking me a little bit more about it, and I explained to him, this isn't about me leaving the team or anything like that. We're about to go into some of the biggest integration work that we need to do in this acquisition in the second half of this year. And honestly, I've given a lot to this team and to this business, and I need to go fully recharge my battery before I get there. And I need to get comfortable with taking and asking for the 4 weeks off, just at the grand scheme of things, like a speckle of time, right? Like it's not even that big of an ask, but it
Yeah.
feels like you make it this big ask, right? And you finally make the ask and you feel really good about it. I'm about to go do that. And then I know that I'm going to be able to give myself fully into that time, really give, like immerse myself into my practice, my me time, everything that I need to do beyond the household stuff that I got to do, of course. But the intention there is to come back fully ready to go, fully ready in my best state to help my team with long-term decisions that are going to impact them. So I can skip 4 weeks of work to get ready for that. But it's tough. It's really tough.
But when you think about it, what you're saying is exactly what we should be doing before we do anything big. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm be conscious enough to say I need this space so I'm in the best place to take any other decisions. Like before getting pregnant, I need to, really sit with myself, prepare my body, my soul, my everything, just to make sure that I can create life. Before divorcing, before, every decision, we kind of hearing what you're saying is like we can't take the decisions with a cloudy mind. And the only way to uncloud it, or I don't know what term to use, but you get my point, is to sit down and listen to what you have to say, like your inside had to say to you. And that for some people is difficult because we have never been allowed to. It's almost like a shame. How dare you? How dare you want 1 hour off of your newborn? Well, because I'm kind of having depression, like before I killed the little kid.
Yeah.
So it's those kinds of things. Oh my God, this conversation has been so awesome. Thank you so much, Angela, for coming. The audience, I have been amazed. It's been super, 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 super great to hear everything that you shared. Thank you for being and for sharing here with such passion. You're definitely a great storytelling. My last question, why should people listen to Material Business Podcast?
To hear the stories, of folks within the industry around the world, because we are human, and what drives us and where we learn key lessons are through stories being told. It opens up our eyes. We live in a time where, perspective isn't just gained by physically being in a different part of the world, but it can be gained through the technology that we do have our hands on. So that would be how I'd answer that question.
Angela, thank you so much. I wish you 4 weeks full with yourself and then a lot of recharging. I really love what you are and then everything that you bring. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you for having me. Very grateful for this.
I am grateful. Thank you so much to the audience. Keep following us. And if you think this episode will be good for someone, just share it with them.
Thanks for listening to the Materials Business Podcast. Feel free to visit infinitygrowth.ca to see show notes and explore other episodes. If there's someone you think should hear this episode, please share with them. Take care of yourself and have a great rest of your day.